All right, let's jump right in. I want you to think about the very last thing you did online. Yeah, that thing. Maybe you bought something, clicked on an article. Heck, maybe it was even choosing to watch this. We're about to pull back the curtain on a hidden force, one that might have had more to do with that choice than you think.
So let me ask you straight up, are you positive that decision was 100% yours? That it came from you and you alone? Because what if that feeling of free will, that satisfying little click, what if that was just the last step in a perfectly designed process? A process you didn't even know was going on?
And that brings us to this big idea we're tackling today, the digital unconscious. Now, let's be clear, we are not talking about annoying pop-up ads. No, this goes way deeper. We're talking about something called decision engineering. It's this whole system built to take a suggestion from an algorithm and plant it in your head so perfectly that you think, hey, that was my idea.
Okay, so our first big question is, are you really the one choosing? Imagine your life online is like a play. You're the star, right? The spotlight's on you. But what if there's a ghost in the machine? Someone or something quietly writing the script for you.
Here's where it gets wild. The desire you feel, that's the product. You know that sudden impulse you get? That, ooh, I should totally buy that moment. Or that random thought to check up on an old friend. Well, what if it wasn't random at all? What if it was just a little line of code injected right into the middle of your day, making you feel like that impulse was completely, 100% yours?
So how do they even do this? How does this hidden engineering actually work? Well, to figure that out, we've got to meet the observer. An observer that never sleeps, never gets tired, and lives in the digital shadows.
And believe me, this observer isn't just counting your likes and clicks. Oh no, it's way more personal than that. It's watching the tiny shake in your finger as you hover over a post but don't click. It's timing, down to the millisecond, how long you linger on a photo that sparks a little bit of fear or envy or desire. It's gathering up all these little fragments of you, even the parts you try to ignore, and it's building a profile so detailed it knows your emotional breaking point before you do.
And this all points to the real goal here, what some call hidden indoctrination. See, the system doesn't have to force you to do anything. It just surrounds you. It carefully arranges the world around you, tweaking your desires from the inside out until you're absolutely convinced that this new passion you have is all your own. The great trick, you see, isn't to chain you down, is to convince you that you're totally, completely free.
So what happens with all this data? I mean, what's the point of gathering all these tiny fragments? Well, this leads us to the engine behind this whole operation, the creation of your digital version. Your ghost twin, a profile of you that might just know you better than you know yourself. And this, folks, is where the real danger starts to surface.
I want you to just let that sink in for a second. Right now, as you're listening to this, a company somewhere is building a digital twin of you. A data-driven avatar that is constantly being updated, constantly learning.
And this twin isn't built from the obvious stuff. It's built from your invisible footprints, the metadata. It's the stuff you don't even realize you're giving away, like how fast you scroll past certain people's photos, the extra half second you pause on a headline, even if you never click it, your location data showing you're at the gym every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Even the way your mouse hesitates for a split second, that can be read as a sign of anxiety or intense interest.
Okay, so they've built this incredibly detailed digital you. Now what? Well, this is where the game changes. The system stops just predicting what you're going to do, and it starts manufacturing what you do. It turns those predictions into self-fulfilling prophecies. There's a famous kind of creepy story about this from the retailer Target. Their algorithm was just, looking at shopping data. And it noticed a teenage girl buying some specific things like unscented lotion, certain vitamin supplements. Nothing obvious, but based on patterns from millions of other shoppers, it gave her a pregnancy score. And then it started sending her coupons for diapers and baby clothes. The twist? It did this before she had even told her own parents she was pregnant. It figured out one of the biggest events in her life from a few totally random-seeming purchases. And that story really highlights the difference, right? It's one thing to predict a choice, to look at data and say, hey, people like you tend to do this. But it's a whole other thing to manufacture a choice. And they do this using something called choice architecture. It's about designing your environment. By putting one option front and center, or telling you a show is a 98% match for you, the system makes its preferred choice the path of least resistance. It gives you a little digital nudge, because it knows we all hate making hard decisions.
All of this, it brings us to a really big, almost philosophical question. I mean, if our choices can be engineered this well,
who's really in charge of our consciousness anymore? And the answer? Well, it might be found in a tiny, tiny gap in time.
So check this out. Scientists have found there's this weird little gap, just a few fractions of a second, between the moment your brain fires up to do something and the moment you actually become aware that you've decided to do it. It's a tiny, silent, subconscious window. And guess what? That's where these algorithms now live. They can slip a suggestion in there before your conscious mind even gets to the party.
So that's the final question we have to ask ourselves, isn't it? If a machine can know what you want before you do, if it can get ahead of your own awareness and plant the seed of an idea, then are you really the one making the choice? Or is what you feel as a choice just an echo, the final result of a huge calculation that happened completely behind the scenes, leaving you with nothing but the feeling of being in control?
Yeah, I know, it's a heavy thought, but look, understanding how these systems work is the absolute first step to taking back control of our own choices. If you want to dive deeper into how we can all navigate this crazy digital world, do me a favor and subscribe. We have so much more to explore together.